Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage your MC with PD, Mr. Gary Latham. Did you get that, guys? We did? Cool. Okay. We're live streaming this tonight on Parkinson's because one of the side effects of some of the medication is an addiction to the internet, mainly gambling and porn. So tonight we're putting this on to keep people with Parkinson's away from gambling and porn. So my name's Gary Latham. I'm the host for this evening of UNSHAKEN. They've got me because when we asked Billy Connolly, he told us to piss off. But that's all right. You got the poor man's Billy Connolly. I'm a quarter Scottish, so I won't be buying you any drinks at the end of the night. Now, apart from this being the UNSHAKEN night for It's Not Funny, and I just want to introduce everybody to Robyn. Robyn is the guest of honour, Robyn Shepherd. If you haven't seen the photo shoot that was done with Robyn and her family, it was done at North Sydney Oval. We'd like to thank North Sydney Council for letting us use the Oval. I'm sure I've paid them enough in parking fines to cover the cost of the lights for that night. But Robyn's passion is cricket, her family, and it's a very strong gene, the Shepherd gene. You'll probably be able to spot everybody in here who's a Shepherd tonight. The cricket, her family, and gin. So you can all thank Robyn for the drinks tonight. And if anybody's got any sandpaper or anything like that, just get rid of it. Okay, tonight is also the night. It's the clip-on bow tie opening night of the Insight Parkinsons Summit. Okay, Summit. Because it'd take me about 5 days to tie this for real, so it's just a clip-on. And I'd just like to introduce Melissa McConaughey. Melissa, come on in. And if you'd just like to explain a little bit about the summit and say hi to your delegates.
Thanks, Gary. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening. It took Gary, John and Ed to take me out to coffee to tell me that this was a really good idea, and it probably took the whole coffee to get the concept out on the floor. But I really love the idea. It's brilliant that we can bring everybody together in such a wonderful way, and I see a lot of familiar faces here tonight, so it's just wonderful to have you all here. I just wanted to tell you about the Insight Summit, which is launching on Thursday, which is World Parkinson's Day. It's the largest online summit for Parkinson's. It will be running for 3 days, and we have 60 world-class speakers, so that includes academics, researchers, clinicians, influencers, and people with Parkinson's talking about their lived experience. It runs like a conference, but essentially all online. So we also have an exhibition booth, networking lounges, etc. So it is a new concept for many, myself included. Last year I'd never actually attended one myself before we started running one. So you can imagine my shock and surprise. But we're a year into it. It's looking fantastic. So if you are interested in more of the current research and you can't get yourself to an actual physical conference, this is a really good way that takes out a lot of the cost and the access issues that many people with Parkinson's have. So I think it's the way of the future, and I'm really excited here to partner with It's Not Funny tonight. So thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, Melissa. Now, you said it only took a coffee to convince you that it would work, and then once I got on the microphone, it only took 2 sips of gin to realise it's probably not going to.
It was the promise of the gin.
It's a promise of the gin. Thank you very much. Thank you. Melissa will be coming back, and she'll be on our panel. Now, nights like tonight can't happen without the support of our sponsors, and one of our major sponsors tonight is Royal Rehab. We have Matt Mackay from Mackay. Cool. I checked that before, didn't I? You did. Yeah, but it's the pressure, mate. I can understand. You will. They're a tough crowd, mate. They're a tough crowd. Matt Mackay. My dog's from Mackay. My dog is from Mackay in Queensland. Yeah, my Staffy. That's just a little aside. Alfie, go to bed. Okay, so Matt is from Royal Rehab, and as I say, tonight wouldn't be possible without Royal Rehab. So give Matt a big hand, because tonight he's buying the drinks. Come on, Matt. All the best, mate.
Cheers. Tough crowd.
No, they love you. They hate my guts. They love you.
Cheers. Thank you. Oh, looking this way.
Yeah, no pressure.
No pressure at all. Thank you, everybody. And can I start by sharing a little story with you? In 1964, an American writer and magazine editor, Norman Cousins, was diagnosed with ankylosing spondylitis, a degenerative disease causing the breakdown of collagen. It caused him great pain and suffering, and he was given only a few months to live. However, Cousins didn't take the news lying down. He became an expert in the biochemistry of human emotions and believed that positive emotions could play an important role in fighting his disease. As part of his therapy, Cousins insisted on regularly watching humorous movies and TV shows, and he famously said that with laughter produced a natural anaesthesia for his body, and that just after 10 minutes of belly laughs would give him 2 hours of pain-free sleep. Cousins, who became a passionate advocate for mind-body connection as well as for world peace, lived almost free from pain for another 25 years. Receiving numerous honorary degrees and awards for scientific contributions, his recovery baffled the medical community and inspired many research projects on the medicinal benefits of laughter and positivity. But in fact, humans have known since the beginning of recorded time that humour, laughter, health are interwoven. And in ancient Greece, for example, around 3,000 years ago, just the other day, physicians would prescribe a visit to the Hall of Comedians as part of their healing therapy. Should be more of that now. I'll talk to my doctors about doing that in my hospital. Clayton? Very good. We know that medicine men from Native America tribes use clowns to make their patients laugh that aid the healing process. And even the Bible's book of the Proverbs said, a cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. As a CEO of Royal Rehab, I've seen time and time again the people going through huge amounts of pain and suffering and hardship with the people that we look after. And I categorically agree that a positive attitude can be life-changing for all. It's Not Funny has got it spot on. As a community group that helps Parkinson's sufferers deal with their condition, the self-depreciating humour that is at the heart of It's Not Funny community is based on thousands of years of human knowledge of the power of humour and positivity. Even their cleverly named events such as this one, UNSHAKEN, which is sensational, especially if you like gin. Shaking? While I'm doing it?
No, I'm showing.
Oh, UNSHAKEN. Right, follow. I'm not, it's good. Helps break the ice of the human psyche. Sorry, I've lost where am I lost where I'm saying.
Just start again because it's quite good.
No. Well, I've got to talk for 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
It's a comedy routine now. Well, that's what it says. Where am I? Even their cleverly named events such as this one, UNSHAKEN, help break the ice by poking fun at the disease. While... Good God.
I've got Parkinson's.
Does it wreck your eyes?
Yeah, there is a link.
Is there?
Yeah.
Righto. Even their cleverly... where am I? While engendering the power of the human psyche, it's not funny.
How many gins have you had?
Not enough. It's Not Funny welcomes anyone dealing with the Parkinson's diagnosis and shows them there is still room for laughter, fun, and living life to the fullest. At Royal Rehab, we are currently celebrating 120 years of providing rehab and disability support service to Australians. Our primary aim is to help the people achieve as much independence and quality life as possible, which closely matches the objectives and the values of It's Not Funny. Royal Rehab is no stranger to Parkinson's disease, and in fact we're very excited to be offering a brand new internationally recognised program, the PD Warrior program, which helps to slow the symptoms of Parkinson's. And this is an intensive exercise program designed for people who are newly diagnosed.
You're losing my glasses.
Sorry, your glasses. And works by tapping into the brain's ability to retain itself by driving neuroplastic change. Excuse me if I fall off my chair because it's like being on a terrible ride.
Do you want to take the glasses off?
No, it's all right. I'll keep wearing them.
Sure.
Does it all look good?
Yeah, take them off. Yeah. They work for me. They work for me.
Can
You look better now.
Dr. Anuka Paraparam, one of our rehab medicine specialists, and part of today's expert panel of speakers, has many years of experience working with people who live with Parkinson's disease. She understands how difficult, shocking and scary it can be to be delivered that Parkinson's disease initial diagnosis. But Anuka and her team are very optimistic about the potentially far-reaching effects of the PD Warrior program. In helping sufferers, both with physical and cognitive symptoms, the program will draw on Royal Rehab's multidisciplinary team of physios, nurses, occupational therapists, exercise physiologists and speech pathologists, all working together to create a fun, dynamic and supportive environment using early intervention techniques to slow the progression of the disease and to improve the quality of life. Through Royal Rehab's private hospital, we also offer 2 other well-known and effective evidence-based therapy programs for people with Parkinson's disease, SLVT Big and SLVT Loud. We use the WeFit and the SmartFit software programs in our programs for balance and cognitive training, and the SmartFit at Royal Rehab is one of the only available in the country. This highly advanced technological workout machine, it says, that's very medical, workout machine, integrates specialised program to train the brain and the body by building strength, optimising motor skills and enhancing cognitive functioning. I would really like to thank the effervescent Robyn and all the wonderful people at It's Not Funny for giving Royal Rehab the opportunity to be involved in this really special event. We're very honoured. Thanks to Archie Rose Distilling Company for having us here tonight and allowing us to enjoy a gin and tonic together, 1 or 2. And the community support and positivity and humour that this amazing group of people extends to the sufferers of Parkinson's disease is truly amazing. I hope that everyone enjoys tonight. Feel free to come and talk to me, or there's quite a few members of my team here as well, both doctors and nurses and all of the above. Please come and talk to all of us if you've got any questions about Royal Rehab. Enjoy the night, and thank you very much for hearing me out for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Matt. Come on, give it up for Matt. You gave me more applause than that. Come on. Thank you very much. Now, the first panel. We're going to need some more microphones, please. Oh, there they are. Thank you very much. Do you know, that was my wife. I could hear her voice above everything else. They're behind you. Thanks, Jane. Jane's, that's my wife there in the high vis. She always wears that to the bar so she gets served first. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you a very close friend of mine, the man who got me involved in all of this madness and the man who started all this madness, Mr. John Peplow. Thank you. Don't say anything yet.
I'm not going to say anything.
You just did.
Oh, sorry.
Now, also, I'd like to introduce Robyn's partner, Michael Shepherd. Now, my wife, who I just pointed out, before I was diagnosed, Jane was diagnosed 15 years before with MS. So I know a little bit about what it's like to have a partner with a condition, and sometimes I feel it's harder to be the partner than it is to be the person with the disease. It becomes yours and it becomes shared. And Michael and Robyn have been through how many years marriage? You better remember.
I'll say 45. Robyn might say more like 80, but that's
okay.
just...
Yep, and how many kids, grandkids?
6 kids, and now you're putting me on the spot. I think it's about 7 3/4 grandchildren.
Yeah. And how many DBSs?
3.
3, yeah. So that's in cricket terms.
For Robyn, that is.
Yeah. In cricket terms, that's some pretty big numbers. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Michael Shepherd.
Thank you.
AO.
Yeah, they told me when I got that I got free beer, but it's not true.
There's no beer here, mate. It's a gin bar.
Yeah.
Just wait a while.
Oh, good. Yeah. Thanks.
I put on after my emails, down the bottom signature, I just put a signature on there, and I put Gary Latham GG. Great guy.
Of course.
Galloping Gourmet. Now, lastly, to join this group, we have Mr. Professor Lawrence Wallen. Lawrence? Oh, you can have one of those to yourself.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Now, we love a brain that helps our brains. And that's what Lawrence is. John came up with, on the basis of Robyn's love for gin, John and I suppose me, if you like the idea, it was me, to get a cocktail shaker made to sell as merchandise to raise money for Parkinson's. And I had a go at it, and John had a go at it, but we got Parkinson's. Yeah, Springmaker had a go at it. And we couldn't quite get it right, so we brought in Lawrence and his team from the UTS.
And I had a go at it, and then I passed it over to the experts that are at the end of the bar over there, the three professors who will join us later to show us
if they can stay sober.
Yes. Well, they're holding the bar up at the moment.
Yeah.
So, but they wouldn't tell me what they were doing. It was very secretive.
There was just all these empty bottles.
All these empty bottles, small room, small dark room.
Lots of sick days.
People didn't go in and out very much. It was
Pizza.
Yeah.
pizza, a lot of pizza. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, let's just wind back, John. How did It's Not Funny start?
Well, I thought what's missing was a spot of humour. Well, you've seen that now tonight.
Still missing.
Yeah, we're still working on it. But Gary has a way of bringing the humour out of us, so I thought he's the best candidate for the job, which I hope you all think the same. So a big hand for Gary.
But one thing I got to say, it's not about humour. It's about positivity. And a lot of people sort of, because I act the clown and I make jokes and all that kind of stuff, they miss the message. And the message is about having a positive attitude. And if that shows its face in a joke, well, that shows its face in a joke. But it's positivity rather than humour.
That's right, Gary. Getting diagnosed is bad news. And being through the experience myself, I was a little overwhelmed, unsure about what the future held. It was a bad time. There was nobody at all telling me that there are some good things.
Did you cry?
I did a bit of crying. I was with a neurologist and I started crying. And
in the neurologist office?
Yeah. Well,
okay, cool.
Yeah, it happens, you know.
Yeah, okay.
Did you cry?
The next morning in the shower.
Oh, okay. Well, I decided I'd do it then instead of waiting until the shower.
Yeah.
And he had a box of tissues alongside.
I have one of them for when I have to sack a staff member.
Yeah.
And I just push, when they start to cry, I just slide the tissues across and keep talking.
Yeah, but he didn't actually go for the tissues, you know. And I was sitting there and I was thinking, he should actually give me some tissues, you know, because I'm crying, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he wouldn't. And I had to actually ask him, you know, can I have a tissue, please?
While you're bawling.
Yeah, and he said, can
I have a tissue, please?
You know, so what's going to happen, you know? And he said, well...
Do you want a burger?
Oh, no, thanks, I'll have one later on, yeah.
Because I thought I'd better offer, otherwise you might, get upset.
Yeah, I might cry.
And then I don't have any
But
tissues.
you haven't got any tissues here, so...
No.
And tissues are chargeable.
So it's funny what you think of at the time. There was no, you know, there I was crying and I wanted some tissues and he didn't give them to me. And his advice was, you'll be fine for about 10 years. Here's some medication and just go home and not worry about it. And I said, I asked him, and I said, is there anything that I can do? And he said, no, I don't think you're the appropriate candidate. It's better that you just go home and take it easy. And I thought, well, I've just been in tears. It's bad enough that I am diagnosed with an incurable illness, but I didn't know what to do about it whatsoever. So I thought, well, what's missing for a start is a bit of lightheartedness. Why don't we have a joke and laugh it off? But he wasn't able to pull that off either. So I wandered around the streets aimlessly for a while, 5 minutes, and then I called my wife, Beata, who started helping me to understand what was going on. Simon Lewis, my neurologist, did tell me that...
He wasn't the first neurologist, though, was he?
Sorry, Simon...
We just want to make sure Simon wasn't the tissue hoarder.
Yeah, he has tissues. He has a little cry himself, you know, so I think he does that in private. Yeah. He actually gave me the second diagnosis. So if anybody's, if you want to give anybody any advice, is make sure they've got a couple of, see a couple of people before they know exactly what's going on. So he told me that the most important aspect of my life from now on will be my wife, believe it or not. It's not the medication, it's the support that you get from your partner, which I think, you know, you might talk a little bit about that. So I'd like to thank my wife. Is she anywhere?
Yeah.
Beata?
I was told when I was diagnosed to get another opinion, but she said, the neurologist said, you can go and get another opinion, but it's going to be the same. So I didn't bother. I took a word for it.
Yeah. So, but you did get a second opinion eventually.
Yes.
Yeah. Which we all do.
And the second opinion will be in the next group, actually.
Oh, you got to. Is he? Yeah. Is he still?
He's still around.
Oh, okay. So.
Yeah. So
he's still doing his job.
Get the tissues out because I'm going to get him.
Oh, okay. This is your chance now.
Yeah, my chance.
Yeah, okay, that's good. So I'll just finish off with saying I think I'm run over time. That the night is not about it's not funny. It's not about the illness. It's not about feeling bad. It's about, as Gary was saying, being positive, because you've got two things that you're living with Parkinson's disease, and I would imagine other illnesses. You've got the illness itself, and then you've got what you're doing about life. And life will remain the same with or without the illness. And it's good to see that you can still do great things and have a good life living with the condition. And a perfect example of that is Robyn, a person that's been diagnosed. When was she diagnosed?
There's an argument over this.
Okay. Sorry if I bring up...
Is there anything you two don't...
30 years.
Is there anything you two don't argue over?
No, not much.
That's good. That's good to see, Robyn.
And it was Robyn's idea to have a night at the distillery, and for her to invite all of you tonight to enjoy this evening with her. So
I think it really was a case of Muhammad coming to the mountain rather than the other way around.
Yes.
And right to the source.
I don't think Muhammad drinks.
No, I think you're right, yeah.
I think there's two schools of thought on that, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
In private.
Like most of us, yes.
Yeah. Oh, so we better not go anywhere with that.
So now, Michael, if you'd like to tell us a little bit about your journey with Parkinson's, just so John can stop.
Sure.
Talking.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Gary. As I said, when Robyn was 38 or 39 or 40, depending on who you ask, we got to pull him...
21. Because my mother was always 21.
Yeah. I'm not
Can
going
I
there.
have that, Robyn?
But in any case, it was, and I'm sure it's different for everybody, it was more the original diagnosis was from our GP, and he just said, look, I don't know, but I think, and sent us off to see a neurologist. And he's a very good GP, and he was right. So we sort of went to see the neurologist, and he said, I'm pretty sure that Robyn has Parkinson's, but I'd like you to go and get a second opinion. And I think the medicos here will tell you that Parkinson's in the past, and probably even now, it's difficult to get an absolute definite diagnosis because some of the symptoms are similar to other diseases. But in any case, so it dawned on us rather than a great big bolt of lightning from the blue. And after the original shock, we just got on with it. And to be honest with you, I don't think Robyn really exhibited too many symptoms for... she had a slight tremor in her right hand for some years. So we were very lucky from that point of view. And so as the symptoms increased and Robyn's condition deteriorated, it was a gradual thing which we've just coped with an awful lot of help from our children. We're lucky. I think at times we didn't think we're lucky to have 6 kids, but we definitely think we're very lucky now to have 6 kids.
Can I just say Emma and Ed have been brilliant with the organisation of this night as well. And Ed came to John and I and said he wanted to get involved and do something for Parkinson's. And he said he wanted to get onto the board of Parkinsons New South Wales. And I said to him, you can do that if you like, but if you want to come and work with us, you'll have more fun. It's the only thing I can promise. And all I can say is it's been a lot more fun with Ed around because John and I have done a lot less work.
Can I just ask you a question? I know Ed is watching, and I'm probably going to put him on the spot, but the way that he said that they thought that Robyn had Parkinson's disease is because when she was driving around a roundabout, she just kept driving around the roundabout.
I've probably been guilty of that myself, and I'm not going to argue with him. But look, one of the things that both of you talked about, the positivity, and the one thing that Robyn's natural inclination from the time she was born is to be positive. You can ask her sister, and stubborn and positive, which is a good thing.
I think I know a little bit about that.
Well, I think it probably goes hand in hand. Look, the one thing that probably because we try to cope by ourselves that we didn't do early enough, and I'd encourage any carer, anyone with Parkinson's, is to make sure that they are aware of the services that are out there and the help from the government. And like all government services, it can be a bit of a maze trying to get through it. But at the end of it, there is significant help, financial and other. And I'd encourage everyone to do that earlier rather than later.
Thank you very much. I was going to ask you what advice you would give someone in your situation, but I think you've just done it very succinctly. So thank you very much, Michael. Thank you very much, John. And thank you very much, Lawrence. We'll be getting you back with the other mad professors at the end. And if you and John can work out how we're going to do all that.
It's going to happen right here.
Right here. And we'll do it one at a time, I think. Yeah. There's 4 prototypes we need to go through.
There's only one prototype.
Oh, there's only one prototype.
I think Lawrence...
It's very big. Sorry, John.
Okay. Do you want to give us a little brief on what we can expect later?
We should keep it as a surprise, Gary. I think the...
Just no is okay.
Sorry?
You can just say no.
Yeah, no.
No, thank you.
I don't know what... do you guys doing something later on, are you?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We've got no idea what's going to happen next.
We're going to find out why they've been locked away. But in the meantime, thank you very much, John. Thank you very much, Michael. And thank you very much, Lawrence.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you. Now, the next lot is a few more brains. Melissa, we'd like to bring you back out again. Now, the best way I can describe Melissa is a person who developed PD Warrior. She also invented the name PD Warrior, but the name was for the classes that she put together. But it's probably more fitting if that name was given to Melissa. PD Warrior. There you go. Thanks. But we don't add PD Warrior Princess. No, should we do that? No, okay, PD Warrior. Next we have Dr. Anuka Paraparama. Did I get that? I couldn't even say Mackay. So that's all right. There we go. That's for you. And you're from, whoops, Metro Rehab and Royal Rehab.
That's right.
Yep. I always knew that I would end up in rehab, but I didn't think it was through Parkinson's. I thought it would be through drug abuse. There we go. Only joking, Mum. Only joking, Mum. That's my mum over there. Fortunately, her memory's starting to go, so she won't remember that I said that. I'm the third son. The good one. Okay, and then a very close person who's near and dear to my heart. People talk about in cases of Parkinson's and also in motor neurone, which is what this professor specialises in. I asked him how he does it, and he said it's not about treating the disease; it's about treating the patient. And I like to describe him as the man who puts his heart into our brains, Professor Dominic Rowe. Did you like that? It was lovely, thank you. That's, I'm going to get the tissues. Now, there's another one. Now, we'll start with Anuka. Now, John Peplow was telling me that he was the person who led you to start your world first work, your world leading work into Parkinson's.
Where's John? Yep. So John was referred to me just a few weeks after the first neurologist, the non-tissue giving neurologist.
Yeah.
And John, instead of sitting at home with his pills and waiting for 10 years, went out and was proactive and he wanted to find something else to do. So he was referred to me at Metro Rehab Hospital. And meeting John at that time, my experience in Parkinson's was more with patients with more advanced Parkinson's. So generally, the more advanced patients were the ones that ended up in rehab because of broken bones or other sort of, secondary complications. So having someone who was young, working, only weeks from diagnosis.
You could have thrown in good looking.
Good looking, yeah. A younger John was, something I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
So.
Were you aware then of early onset? How common early onset Parkinson's was?
That at that time, no. I mean, that was in fact. I remember coming out going, "Ooh, I've just seen someone who's young and just weeks from diagnosis." But as we went through the consultation, and I think all those of us who treat Parkinson's, even though he was early in diagnosis, John had already had both motor and non-motor symptoms that was affecting his function and activity, and he was overwhelmed.
Yeah. Now, knowing what you know now, how important do you think it is, when someone's diagnosed, to sort of push the tissues away and do something, and what would you suggest that they do?
Yep. So I think the suggestion is, and leading from that, I think what every patient that's been diagnosed with Parkinson's deserves to be linked into a multidisciplinary rehab program which incorporates exercise programs like the PD Warrior, but also, involves sort of. Do I get another chance to chat or? You're
doing well. Yeah, you're doing well. Should we have another chance to chat? Yes, they love you. They're going nuts.
Yeah. No, because it's about linking in rehab early so that patients like John, what we discovered was after he attended a program at Metro Rehab, which was multidisciplinary, he got the tools and the education and support to just help him start off that journey or the unexpected journey of life with Parkinson's.
Yeah. Now, we will come back to you. We'll give you all 2 chances. Melissa? Yes. There's been a bit of talk here about PD Warrior. Do you want to explain how it works and what benefits it gives?
I'd love to. I'm awfully impressed. Yeah, so PD Warrior is a program that is based on exercise, but I think, as you're saying, Anushka, exercise is the vehicle to help people develop that self-esteem, that self-efficacy that's so important in, I think, challenging the perspective that people have about having their Parkinson's and how they live with their Parkinson's. And I often say when I have a patient come into the clinic, within a week or two of diagnosis, it's possibly that sliding doors moment, because I think if they don't come in at that point in time, it may well change the trajectory of how they live their life and how much positivity they have around it. And I see a lot of people that don't reach out for various reasons and they become quite socially isolated quite quickly. They start to give up work and social interactions and a lot of those things that I think are unnecessary given the right tools and strategies that you're talking about. So I think rehab is essential, not so much for the exercise, because that's almost a given. It's about building that confidence and getting those quick wins in early, that you don't have a glass ceiling. You can still achieve an awful lot. It's just developing the strategies and the methods and the ways to do that, and believing in yourself that it's possible. And I've certainly seen that in my clinic. I've seen what you guys have achieved. 5-10 years ago, we wouldn't have thought it was possible to have such a good life with Parkinson's. It's possibly the most exciting time now that I'm seeing in the literature and from what my patients are experiencing. There's just so much information now. We know we have so much more to offer. So I think it's a very exciting time at the moment.
Yeah. Now, Dom, it's very hard. Every time I've met Dom in the past, we've gone through a little bit of a Parkinson's dance, because I enrolled in the PPMI program, which is Parkinson's something markers initiative. Progression. And so I'd go in every 3-6 months and have MRIs and we were talking about diagnosis. I did have a definitive test.
Yeah, so the PPMI, which is sponsored by Shake It Up Foundation and through Michael J. Fox, is a study that's been going since 2012, and it's trying to understand what are the factors that are involved in how Parkinson's disease gets worse. And so this was a very ambitious project headed by a chap called Ken Marek, who is the nicest man who's ever drawn breath. How he actually cajoles a room full of neurologists, which are sort of like cats, into doing what he asks them to do is really quite remarkable to watch. And the commitment of the people who have volunteered to be part of the study, so it's 400 people with Parkinson's disease, 200 normal controls, and we have 80 people who have sort of little bits of Parkinson's disease that we call SWEDs. And
me.
And you, yeah. And the commitment for people to turn up and have lumbar punctures and MRI scans and special scans to look at dopamine in their brain is really quite remarkable. And it's an astounding project and really one of a kind. It will never happen again.
Yeah, but my wife turns up to watch all the procedures because she's quite the ghoul. she loves it.
The PPMI is like being a wheel on a semi-trailer. So if you don't actually keep up to speed, you get in trouble. So it's quite an extraordinary study that will enlighten us about what are the factors that are involved in the different forms of Parkinson's disease and how that gets worse.
Yep. What's it like? I know what it's like to be told. What's it like to tell someone they have Parkinson's?
A lot of patients come to me for a second opinion, but sometimes that's not the case. And telling someone that they have Parkinson's disease, I never do that by themselves. And so coming to the diagnosis, the clinical diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, you listen to the story, you examine the patient very carefully and thoroughly, you look for other conditions that may mimic Parkinson's disease, and then you will say, I think that we might be dealing with Parkinson's disease. And 99 times out of 100, the person who comes to see you already, they go, I thought I had that.
Yeah.
So, but it's still an inflection point when someone says to you, I think you have Parkinson's disease. And the impact on the person who you're telling is profound. And so I always take a lot of time, and there's a lot of space and silence, and there's always someone else there. Their partner is in the room.
Yep, cool. Now, the first thing, it wasn't you who diagnosed me, I saw you later, but the first thing I asked my neurologist when she said come back the next day with any questions, I asked, could I have a disabled parking sticker? And you still haven't given me one, so why can't I have one?
You're not getting one.
You've got one.
No, I don't.
I saw you get out. I saw you park your car.
No, I park in the disabled spot. I don't have a sticker. Come on, I'm a doctor.
Okay.
I can do anything.
Fair enough.
No, but he still asked me for a disabled parking sticker, and, it's 50 metres from the front door to my room, and you can walk that easily, so you don't get one, lad.
I walk faster when I leave.
Yeah, that's true.
I even had to get my hip replaced to try and get a sticker, and it didn't work.
No.
You wanted to talk again?
Yep.
Remember?
I did want to talk.
Yeah, okay.
I just wanted to say, so overcoming the challenges of this complex disease requires a team effort, and I don't do it alone. And I just wanted to shout out to my team that are here from Metro Rehab and Royal Rehab Private, because it's not just about the exercise, whereas I think the PD Warrior component is an excellent part of our rehab program, and excited that Royal Rehab is going to have one soon. But it's about the occupational therapists, and we've got Susan here, and I've got Amy here, and they run sort of LS Sweetie Loud. We've got nurses, we've got speech therapists out here, we've got physiotherapists, exercise physiologists, clinical psychologists, and social workers. So it's about having the team behind you, and I think a forum like this is important for the collaboration between the patients, carers, and the healthcare providers, so that we can be getting these services out to patients early in the disease.
Okay, I have a question for the three of you to answer one at a time. Mel, you can go first. I would like to know, what shouldn't someone Google when they get diagnosed with Parkinson's, and what should they Google when they get diagnosed with Parkinson's? Because everybody does.
That's a really good question. I would probably recommend that people don't Google Parkinson's at all, because I think the capacity to catastrophise and struggle to interpret the information for the independent person is probably challenging. What I do think they should Google are support services, Parkinson's New South Wales, for instance. It's Not Funny, things that will uplift them in their journey.
Okay. Dom?
Well, I think people inevitably do Google, and as a doc, you've got to be aware of what people are reading, and there's a lot of shit in the internet, and I don't know about you, Simon.
It's not funny.com.au, are you?
Well, that comes up as number one, but everyone with Parkinson's disease wants something that's going to change the course of their disease. That's what they want. They want the disease to stop, and they want symptomatic therapy so that they are close enough to normal as possible. So, and you see proliferation on the internet of near-infrared light or cannabis oil. I mean, I think I should become a broker for cannabis oil, the number of people who want it in the...
I used to be. Mum.
Oh, okay.
Don't tell my mum.
So I think as a health provider, healthcare provider, people are fully au fait with what's on Google. And if you don't know what's on Google, it's people will come and ask you. And, I always say to the people that I look after with Parkinson's disease that the only silly question is the one that you don't ask. So even though I've answered, just like Simon and like Paul, about near-infrared light helmets about 100 times in the last 6 months,
Yeah.
we need to deal from strength in what we know and partner with the people that we look after to conduct good research to understand Parkinson's disease, to produce therapies that change it and hopefully stop it.
Yep. When yep.
Dominic's absolutely right. It doesn't matter whether you tell people not to Google it, they will Google it, whether it's Parkinson's or extraterrestrial beings or whatever, they will Google it. And it's not just on Google. You will see things, and I'm sure Dominic's aware of this, you'll see things announced on the news which are bullshit. And sometimes you'll see things which aren't bullshit but are announced every couple of years as something new. And the only thing I'll say is people should always speak to the neurologist. You know, you don't go and sue someone without a lawyer. You shouldn't go and listen to what is on the news or on the internet without speaking to a neurologist.
Ask the experts. What I do when my staff come to me and they say, "Can I ask you a question?" I say, "You just did."
Can I ask you 2 questions?
You just did. And you want your Google advice?
Google? That's not fair that I go last, but no, that's
I'm
right.
going to go last.
You're going to go last.
You only wanted to speak twice, not 3 times.
Speak 3 times, no. No. Look, I think I agree with everyone who's spoken. I think people are going to Google, and you're going to be Googling, is there a cure? You know, what's the sort of, current new treatments, and, all of those, you need to be discussing it with your neurologist and other team members. And I think what people should be Googling is, sort of non-pharmacological ways of, managing the disease. So.
But I would add that when people come to you with stuff from Google, you sit and listen and take it seriously. You don't blow it off.
Yeah.
So no matter what the question is, one of the questions I get very frequently is stem cell therapy. When is that going to come in Parkinson's disease? And I think that the hurdles biologically for stem cells to be an effective therapy in Parkinson's disease are huge. And so the likelihood of that being a therapy at the moment is pretty remote. But I think that the inflection point of therapies in the clinic to slow and stop Parkinson's disease are here already. So we need to be optimistic and we have to drive it forward. So much like the motor neuron disease patients drive it forward and Parkinson's disease patients drive it forward through Shake It Up and Michael J. Fox, we need to partner with patients to produce new therapies into the clinic.
Yeah. Now, I'm PD Warrior. For those of you who don't know, it's about big movements, and it came from LS big, or loud, which was the voice. Am I right?
It came from similar literature, which was all about amplitude-based training and intensity of training, and it's derived from neuroplastic training principles.
Yeah. So what I want to do is share one of my coping mechanisms. I did do the PD Warrior class. If you can stand up, you can join in with me.
Yeah.
If you guys want to stand up. So what I want you to do is put your right hand up in the air as high as you can. And then I want you to pull it down as fast as you can. Now I want you to put your left hand in the air and pull it down as fast as you can. Now I want you to put your right hand up and your left hand up and do one after the other. Now I want you to lift your right leg up and slam it to the ground. I want you to lift your left leg up and slam it to the ground. I want you to now get all that going together as fast as you can. And then we're going to bring in the voice because we're going to shout. And I want you to repeat after me. Ah! Ah! Life's not fair!
It's not fair!
Parkinson's sucks!
Parkinson's sucks!
But I'm kind of good looking and I feel pretty good about myself. So there you go. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Can we have our gin with Robyn now?
You can have as many gins as you like. Now, Lawrence. Behind, have we got the Boffins? This is a big moment.
This is a big moment.
Now.
It's stored at the back.
What we're going to do is get these guys to bring out their oscillator and make 3 different drinks. And then we're going to get the guys from behind the bar to judge which drink is the best drink. So we're going to do 3 different drinks out of this one oscillator, because there's only one, isn't there? Yep, cool. I beg your pardon. This is Glenda. Glenda is one of the featured people on It's Not Funny. And what did you just say you wanted?
Sex on the beach.
Any takers? Steady. You come with the person you leave with. You leave with the person you come with. Steve, that's God's honest truth. And now she dances for Parkinson's. So that's pretty cool. I said at the last one at the Garvin that Glenda was a cage dancer in the 60s, and now we have cage fighting. It just doesn't seem fair. How are they going, the Boffins?
They're coming down.
They're coming down. Thanks, Chris. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Brown. Not the famous Chris Brown, or the second famous Chris Brown, the other Chris Brown who gets mistaken for being Chris Brown. There you go. Thank you very much. Here we come.
It's a pocket size. This is the pocket size version. There is a larger one planned.
Okay,
This is
so
for
you
those
reckon
of
we
you
can
with
clamp
big
it to
pockets.
this? And all I want to say is you break it, you pay for it. And you're right with the lamps?
Yeah, that'll be okay.
John, Mr. Peplow, do you want to come out and take responsibility for this as well? There we go. And this is all because you like gin, Robyn.
So we've got to put our heads together, and we thought if you get stuck in a room with people and you're not sure what you want to do on the night, you can pull out your cocktail shaker and show off.
You better have a big house.
Well, I think we'll be asking the professors here their ideas behind the development. Their brief was if the Parkinson's sufferer has a shakes, why not turn it into something that's a benefit instead of a hindrance? So we were trying to figure a shaker seems to be the obvious. Everybody talks about shaken, not stirred, and all that sort of stuff. So we just looked at the bleeding obvious, and we thought, well, okay, let's make a cocktail shaker. And believe it or not, we had these gentlemen here that thought it was a good idea. So I guess, Lawrence, I better hand it over to you to lead the bunch.
I will introduce them. I'll introduce the 3 professors. That's Stefan there with the microphone.
Did everybody hear that? These guys are professors.
They're all professors. That's Stefan. There's Rod, and Berto's at the back. And as I said, I haven't seen them for a few weeks. An amazing mound of empty pizza boxes and empty bottles of Archie Rose Gin outside the little workshop space. And here it is.
So how does it work, guys?
Here it is. Shall we do a dry run first, or
No,
straight into it?
Did you notice when you set it up, everybody went?
They stood back.
You might get wet.
When you fill it up, everybody's going to go 2 steps.
What are we making?
We're making Vespa Martini.
Will it fit in there?
Okay. Do you want to talk us through what's going into the drink, or is it a secret?
It's not a secret. It's a classic cocktail. So first we put a little bit of Lillet Blanc. Going to use some Archie Rose botanical vodka. And Archie Rose original dry gin.
It's a good job here we at Archie Rose, I guess.
And that's it. And just add some ice and shake it up.
Okay.
So he's done his part, and he's not a professor. And he hasn't stuffed it up. So let's see how pressure makes diamonds. You can't take this on a plane, by the way. Can we get a glass that isn't glass, maybe?
I'm going to step back, Aaron.
I'm going to put my safety glasses
Yeah,
on.
we'll just step back a little bit here.
Did you? I need my safety glasses, Jane. Thank you very much. Did you hear that? Did you hear that, guys? Did you hear that?
What?
Silence.
Silence.
The whole room shitting itself.
Would you like to come and shake?
Shake. I can. I'll do my best.
All right. So the shake is
Gary,
in place.
I think we were wondering whether Glenda might.
Yeah, she shakes more than I do. Glenda, do you want to come out and do this? Do it right, and you might get some sex on the beach.
Hello, pleased to meet you.
I think
Now,
she likes you, Glenda.
all you have to do is give it a little bit of a shake at the bottom, and it'll shake quite a lot at the top. So, go for it. That's it. Do you need a hand? Go. Nope. Too much.
That's it. Now you got it. That's it.
Excellent. And then all you do is you bring it down.
Oh, there you go.
I would like you to all appreciate how little effort Glenda had to make.
That's right.
To make
Yeah.
the cocktail.
Do you want to taste this and tell us how you went? Lovely. Well done, Glenda.
Perfect. Perfect.
Shall we try another one?
Gary, should we move straight into the competition?
This is the competition, isn't it?
Are we on it?
This is the competition sort of thing.
That was drink number one.
Yeah. We're gonna do another one to prove it wasn't a fluke.
I beg your pardon?
We need to do another one to prove it wasn't a fluke.
All right. The same one, I think, same again.
Another drink, please. Another drink, please.
Yeah. So, yeah, the same thing.
No, let's make something different.
All right, cool. So we're thinking of making the south side.
Go for it. Okay.
A lot of
That's a
shaking.
good one. Yeah, the more the better. Okay.
Yeah?
Is that
Yep.
like the most shaking, or are we going to keep moving up shakings?
I don't know how much this is going to break up.
Gary, who do we have from the group here that will shake the next drink?
Would you like to, ladies? Would you like to do it together? Come on. It's the Parkinson princesses. Bronwyn and Glenda. A round of applause, please. These were two of the first people shot for It's Not Funny. That's right, isn't it? That's 100%. This is actually quite nice.
The drink,
sorry, Archie.
the
I didn't
drink
mean
or the
to-
machine?
Jane, do you want to taste? Oh, you don't want to taste it? You can't catch Parkinson's.
I think she's saying give it to Glenda, Gary.
I think she's pissed enough already.
For the competition?
There we go. Thank you very
Right,
much.
shaking,
Glenda.
shaking. Go on.
This one has to be shook for how long?
20 minutes, I think 20, 25
Is there any
minutes.
ice in there? Oh, no ice. Okay. Right. Does it come back down? Okay.
When do you reckon they should stop?
All right, hang on. There's a stage two, apparently.
Are the two of you working together?
So simple to use, safe and friendly for the kids.
Gives them a good future.
And if some people might be interested thinking they're non-drinkers, you can also use it for like the gym shakes. Wouldn't this impress your friends at a cocktail party?
Yeah, is that enough? Good. Do we have a glass? Yep.
Bring it down, that's
Just
it.
bring it down. Push.
And can we get 2 straws, please, because they can share. It's a thing of beauty, isn't it?
Lovely.
Do you want to have a taste? Thank you very much. That's yours. Now, the brains behind this operation, Mr. John Peplow, has decided we are going to auction. What's it called?
The cocktail oscillator version 1, prototype 1.
Are we making any more? Or
Yes,
you want a drink?
We'll be talking afterwards.
You can keep making them while we do the auction.
No worries.
Normally, at a Parkinson's event, in my experience, an auction's not the greatest idea because you've got 2 people trying to bid, and it takes ages. And then you've got someone else who's bidding on everything. So, you want to keep making one while I do the bid? It might sort of make people more interested.
what are we making next?
Making a slow gin Collins.
Slow Gin Collins. That's my nickname. Okay, so with the Slow Gin Collins, we will give you the drink with the oscillator.
Sorry.
Okay, any opening bids for this take-home pocket-size oscillator? Oh, for Christ's sake, one person. 500. That's my wife. 500 cents? $500. How many drinks have you had? $500 to the lady in the bright dress. Oh, come on, it's my wife. Don't do this to me. 600. We've got 600 down here. We've got 600 over here. You want to have a fight? 600 here, 600 here. 700, 700, 700, 700, 700. 800, 800, 800, 800 from the guy who puts people to sleep for DBS operations. $800, $800 for the oscillator. 800, 800, 800 going once to the anaesthetist. Does anybody else want to put people to sleep? 800. Not putting any pressure on you, sir. Just please, please, please. 800. How much were you expecting? Lawrence, how much do you think this is worth?
20.
How many professors have we had working on this?
12
12 professors
for 3 weeks.
for 3 weeks. That's 36 weeks. So that's 36 hours of work.
At about, I don't know, 500 an hour.
$500 an hour. $18,000. And that doesn't include the cost of the timber
Or the drink.
or the drink. And you'll go and have sex on the beach with the person who bears it. We've got 800 to the anaesthetist. 800 going once. It's like a Western. All the barrels, all the silence. 800 going twice. 800 going 3 times. Put your hands together for Dr. Ignatenko. And Nick, if you want to come up and... You can drink. You get the drink, and you also get to make your own drink. What would you like? Oh, it's not made yet. Oh, that's just ice. And this guy's a doctor. Little tip: if you're having a DBS, if you have to have another DBS operation, and it comes up anaesthetist Ignatenko. Oh, do you reckon it'll snap?
Oh.
No. You break it, you pay for it. It's yours.
Well,
you can
it's
snap
yours
it if you
now.
want.
Comes with a 20-year guarantee.
A bit of gaff tape would probably fix that.
Oh, is that ice meant to be there?
Yeah, the ice is meant to be there. That's how they... What a lovely job. Well done. It's an expensive drink. Thank you very much, Nick. Nick, you can stay and keep making people drinks if you like with your new toy. You get the clamps, they're $400 each. Yeah, the clamps are good. And are you going to paint it? Matte black. Gloss black. To go with those. Oh, did you get the canisters? Of course. It's all yours. Now everybody's going, oh, I could have got the clamps. When have you ever washed anything?
Yeah.
So, John, if you'd like to come and join me, we'll close this crazy event. I just want to thank everybody. As I said at the last event, which was at the Garvin, and as it turned out, after It's Not Funny did an event at the Garvin, they got $30 million from the government. So let's see what we can get for Archie Rose.
We were actually thinking about our next event. We've got our heads together, and all we're doing at the moment is it seems to be just hitting heads. The ideas are coming forward, but they're too ridiculous to even mention at the moment.
Oh, well, I just want to know if a lot of charities have golf days. We're thinking about having a charity golf event on the Nullarbor Golf Course, which is 1,600 kilometres long. Any takers? Yep, you can come.
So if anybody has a good idea,
yep,
and it doesn't matter how ridiculous it is, we'll soon sort it out and put it into context, and then it'll be nothing like what you've actually suggested. It'll be even sillier. Just feel free to put your suggestion in the suggestion box on the way out. Do we have a suggestion box?
Oh, now you suggest it.
Maybe we can get the professors to make up a
yeah,
suggestion box.
It's going to take a long time.
Could we cut this up and make it into a suggestion box?
Well, thank you to Metro Rehab, thank you to Royal Rehab, thank you to PD Warrior, thank you to the Insight Forum Summit thing. Go online. Sorry, Mel. You should never have that. Next time we ask you out for a cup of coffee, you'll go, busy. Thank you to Archie Rose. Thank you especially to Robyn. So please hang around, have a drink or two. Nick's shouting.
And Gary, can I just mention, there is a hell of a lot of food that you need to eat before you go. So we'll be checking whether you have done that on the way out.
And to you all for coming and helping out and putting your heart into Parkinson's, thank you all very much. Good night.
Thank you.